I have my money, you have your money, then maybe this little thing in the middle for bills. What's wrong with that? And he's like, well, that's not total unity. Like, why would you need to do that? You have your stuff over there. This is mine. I worked for this. I did a lot of things. I've handled my finances. This is my thing over here. And we had I mean, listen, it didn't come to blows or anything. Like, we weren't, wrestling about it, but it got awkward. Welcome to the Pastor's Lounge. I'm Sherry, your unapologetically Christian therapist. Here we talk about all things mental health and wellness from a biblical perspective. This is a really common question, I guess we could say, or thought as it comes to getting married. And it's fair. It's a fair question, I think, and I wonder just how much it is permeating the church and the body of Christ. And so we're just going to break it down today. And that big question is, when you're getting married or you're on the cusp of making that big decision, is it okay, specifically as Christians, right, to have a backup plan? Because do you ever really know if you're with the right one? Can you actually know if you're with the right one? I have a variety of answers to that, but let's really just break that down and get some thoughts rolling, shall we? Actually, I'm going to start with a story. I'm going to start with a story, mine, because that's just a good one. When my husband and I were getting married, we did great. Now listen, we followed all the rules that I give all of you, and there'll be many more videos that talk about healthy marriage and dating and all the things that go with that. But we did. We followed the rules. We got counseling. We had a lot of accountability, a lot of wisdom around us. We dated really intentionally with a lot of, I truly believe, and listen, people could roll their eyes, but I would venture that the way that we did it, God was nodding with approval. There were challenges, and I shared already openly in other videos that we weren't perfect. We were not. But as far as the template that we had in front of us, it was really solid, and I'm grateful to God by His grace that we mostly followed all the rules for the most part. But there was a hiccup. There's a hiccup that I have not shared because it's only relevant now as it pertains to really having that, the question of can I have a security blanket? Can I have a little backup? Can I have a little backup account just in case she turns out to be a mess and I need to have my escape plan. I grew up as an only child of a single parent, a mom who worked super hard, 2 jobs at certain life seasons to make sure that we had what we needed. I grew up in a family, and just collectively, kind of culturally, it was very common to see the woman doing a lot and handling the most, and a lot of single parents and single moms. I saw a lot of that. And so indirectly, subconsciously, I did develop a bit of kind of a quiet, expectation, you could say, that it was okay to make sure that I was all right. And if things didn't go the way that I was hoping, all right, well, I'm good still because I already got, this and this over here. So it's fine if you end up not being it. And I actually didn't see anything wrong with that attitude and with that perspective. So fast forward, my husband and I are getting closer and closer to our wedding date, I believe. I think so. He's recording, so he can nod if I'm remembering this correctly or not. And oh, good, I got a nod, so I'm right. We were getting close to getting married. We were in the midst of our counseling, getting towards the tail end of it, or we had ended, and we're now kind of in like monitoring phases as we got ready to really seal the deal. And I remember meeting him at his work office. We were going to go out for a little date, and we started talking about money. And he's like, I feel like we really need to prepare to have like a joint account. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Why do we need to do that? Why can't, I have my money, you have your money, then maybe this little thing in the middle for bills? What's wrong with that? And he's like, well, that's not total unity. Like, why would you need to do that? And I was like, well, because that's mine. Like, you have your stuff over there. This is mine. I worked for this. I did a lot of things. I've handled my finances. This is my thing over here. And we had I mean, listen, it didn't come to blows or anything. Like, we weren't, wrestling about it, but it got awkward. It got awkward for a minute. And we had to kind of end that evening at an impasse. And I had to go back home and think about it, pray. I'm like, all right, well, good thing I have my backup plan, just like gonna be done with this. Never mind, all my pride kicked in big time and I was so upset. And then, of course, the Holy Spirit in his loveliness came and sat with me. And he's like, let's chat about that whole thing that happened back there. What's going on with you? I was like, what do you mean? You essentially kind of made me this way, Lord. Of course, put it back on, on him. I pulled an Adam, this woman you gave me. Well, you made me this way. I grew up with just my mom, and this is just how we take care of ourselves. And, I had my whole thing. I had a speech prepared, and God's like, would I give you someone that would take advantage of you? Do I give bad gifts, Sherry? I sent this husband. I confirmed it in a dream. I spoke to you directly and told you this was your husband. Would I give you someone that you couldn't trust? Would I give you someone that would require a backup plan? Because I make mistakes. And I was like, well, and just, fumbled at the mouth, because what do you do when the Lord speaks like that? And he's right. And I had to wrestle with the fact that I had some fear. And I had some reservation, not because of him. My husband was awesome. And to this moment, as we speak, it's still awesome. And it's been clear for this whole time that he's the one. We're good. But at that moment, that was the last bit of some unhealed stuff, some unaddressed things in me that I had to sit with God and in counseling be like, what's the root of this? What's the root of that? My dad was never around. I didn't have a father. I didn't have that person to show me that this is how marriages are set up and they last, and you can trust, you can put all your eggs in this basket because I'm not going anywhere. I had never seen that. So this was the first time I was met with this very tender, vulnerable area of my finances. One thing that I felt like I'd worked hard, I did a lot. I was like, why would I blend it with you? What if you run off with it? What if you ruin my credit score? We'd already done so much counseling. I knew his financial history. We had laid everything bare. We knew each other's income, our spending habits, our credit issue. We were open. So it wasn't like I had a transparency issue here. It was my own unresolved area of wondering, are you actually going to stick around? Do I need to make sure I keep a bag in the car just in case you end up being... What's that about? I had to deal with that, go before God, ask him to forgive me, eventually come around, ask my now husband, then, fiance to forgive me, and be like, no, you're right. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna put our money together, and I'm going to trust that this is not gonna be an issue. I'm gonna trust God, and I'm gonna trust you. Guess what? I don't regret it. It worked. Because for me personally, that was a wrestling. That was a spot where I was going to create an opportunity for the enemy to just always keep me just ever so slightly distrusting of a person that had never given me any reason to not trust him. But I was allowing his history and other people's patterns and things that were not, quite right about in my own life that God had since, used to teach me, right? I was allowing that to cloud something where God's like, don't look over there. I gave you this man. So back to the main question. Can Christians have backup plans? The world does what the world does. I'm quick to say that. I'm very clear here. Can Christians have a backup plan in their marriages? Should we be holding things from each other and separate everything? And we just live in the same house, but we have separate this and separate that. Then why'd you get married? If you can't trust that you are with someone that you can't fully lean on, don't get married. Don't get married and live separately. God says what he brings together, let no man put asunder. You are supposed to come together. The two shall become one flesh. He didn't say one flesh in two accounts. Now, what would make you, me in that time, be afraid? Because that's really what's at the core of making decisions like that. And I'm making it about money because that's the example that I have, but there can be a lot of different things and different scenarios where you are withholding, or you're kind of just keeping some element to the side in the just in case. What would make you do that? You have to look at your own fears. Do you need your own counseling for your unhealed stuff? Are you bringing old baggage into a new situation and potentially harming something beautiful out of your own unfinished business? Or do you in fact have reasonable reservation? Has this person demonstrated that they're not trustworthy? They're not good with their money. They're not, well, I'll keep bringing up money because that's the example I have, but you know what I mean? They're not to be trusted as far as their faithfulness, their honesty, their consistency, their ability to keep their word. Have you seen patterns of behaviors that are giving you pause? And if so, listen. When a person shows you who they are, believe them. So if you have reason for your pause, don't ignore it. Don't say, let's get married anyway, but I'll just make sure that just don't get married. Don't do it in the first place. If this is not right, don't do it. Also, did you get counsel? Did you sit with a Christian, whether they're a couple or individual, a professional to take you through your paces, not in 2 conversations, not in 15 minutes, not a read this book and y'all will be fine, who got in your business, asked you explicit, difficult, embarrassing, to your toes questions to ensure you have covered every possible angle with as much honesty as you're willing to give them, to be able to really ensure that you're with someone that you have complete transparency with. Everything, their mental health history, their financial history, their family history, their spending habits, how they use their free time, all their vices, their issues, historically and present. Get in the weeds, know the stuff. And then you're always asking God. There are many videos that we've done right thus far that have hit on that area. You can know. You can get the top, bottom, left, right, and side, right? Those sheets. You can get that answer from God. That level of clarity exists for you. God says he will lead you. He'll guide you into all truth. Not some truth. Not a little bit of truth. All truth if you ask him. I asked for a dream confirming that I had the right man in front of me, and God showed me plain as day. This is it. You may not see it all there right now, but this is your husband. I chose to believe God, and I have zero regrets, obviously. But if you don't have that type of assurance from the Lord, assurance from godly counsel, assurance from their actual behaviors and what they're demonstrating to you, because you are taking the time to observe them, pay attention, don't ignore red flags. If all those things are in place, and those who you trust and have spiritual wisdom, which may or may not be your family, okay? People who are discerning also have shared, we prayed. Things are being exposed. We're watching very carefully. This is a good partner for you. If all the things are in alignment, if you still have fear, what's that about? Because at the end of the day, God only gives good gifts. So the long and short of it is, if it's from God, it's good, and no backup plan is needed. No return receipts. Toss them, all of them, and trust that the Lord knows what he's doing. Pay attention to what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, and work it out. If it leads you to a deeper place of healing and clarity, which it did for me, there was something that my husband had nothing to do with why I was having those reservations. He had done nothing to make me not trust him and not trust giving him all of me in that way. It was me. It was my stuff that I needed to deal with the Lord. And when I was done, and when I came out of that closet with God, I was ready. And there are no regrets. So, but if you take that time and you look at the relationship and you're like, that's your answer also. You listen to that. So there's no need to enter with a backup plan. Just don't enter at all. How about that? Okay. So I feel so strongly about this, because so many of us are making decisions out of duress, out of obligation, out of haste, out of not wanting to be alone, or whatever our reasons are. And then we go into these situations, but we keep a little insurance policy in our back just in case. It's not the right time, and it's not the right person. And if the Lord put it on my heart to write about this and speak about it, then there are people that he is trying to get this message across to. And you'll know who you are because you listen to this, and you'll know that it's for you. And you need to reconsider the situation that you're in, whether it's to let yourself fully trust or trust your instincts and what you're seeing and let the situation, person, scenario, job, friend go. Because you have to make too many contingencies, too many backup plans, and too much damage control is going into just trying to enter something that should be healthy and it should be unified. So if you don't feel that type of peace, there's a reason for it. And you shouldn't ignore that. So these are my musings, and I already know this is going to change some lives, save some lives, save some marriages, and potentially cancel some weddings. And I'm totally okay with whatever the outcome is, as long as it is right in the eyes of God and healthy for you. I already know that this impacted somebody, or God wouldn't have me talk about it. And if it's you, you know who you are. Do what you got to do first and foremost. And then feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, I pray that you prosper and you are in great health, even and especially as your soul prospers.